this is by far the easiest and simplest way to make sure that you're converting more traffic on your dropshipping store. So imagine, for example, you've got 100 people visiting your website. On average, out of those people, the people who will purchase will only be anywhere between 1 to 2% of that traffic will actually turn into paying customers. That means that you're leaving 98% of your traffic is being ignored. 98% of the traffic that hits your website will end up leaving, and you'll never see them again. Maybe you've got some retargeting ads set up, but you're never really going to see them again. Chances are they're never going to purchase again. So what can we do that's not going to cost us anything to actually get these customers back and understand why we're not getting high conversion rates? Chances are, if you've just started building your store, you're probably sitting there with a much lower conversion rate of anything between 0 to 0.5%. And this is the point where we really need to focus on improving our conversion rates and understanding why people aren't buying from our store before we end up spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on advertising. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. It's a completely automated system. We're going to do all of this with some AI automations. So here we go. Somebody lands on our website. They're going to look at our product page. This is just a website I've thrown together for this example. And maybe they've got some product images that you've taken off the internet. You've got the pricing. You've got a little bit of description about the product. Hopefully yours is longer and better than this. And then that is it. Well, first of all, before someone buys this product, they need to trust your website. And what's going to make them trust you is quality images, quality text, social proof, reviews, testimonials, images that don't look like they've just been taken off AliExpress, but also they want to know important things like shipping times and returns. So that's why I've added these links in here, but I've done that more to kind of prove a point. So the biggest problem is most websites don't have this information on the product page. And if they do have this information on the product page, they've tried to hide it because the shipping times are quite slow, the returns are quite slow. So excluding the fact that we need to speed up those shipping times, what else can we do? Well, we need to understand why people are leaving and the questions that they have. If somebody comes to this page and they're asking, can I put this in the dishwasher, for example, and we haven't got that on our product page, that is a huge problem. That is something that's going to stop people from buying. Imagine somebody comes to the website and they've got a list of 5 questions, and those 5 questions, if not answered, will lead to them leaving your website. You need to know what questions they have before they leave your website. And the more data that we gather from the more visitors, the more information we can then add to our product page, which is going to increase conversion rates. It kind of makes sense when you really start to think about it. But how do we know what the customer's thinking? Well, it's actually incredibly easy. There's actually a little code snippet that I'm going to give you, which you can actually add into your website. But basically, if we go on to, this is another e-commerce store that I'm just going to use as an example. If we go onto this website, right, and we just pick out one of these products, first of all, you'll notice the difference in the product page. It's got a little bit more information, which is kind of obviously useful. There are other products on here which has got more information, but the most important thing here is the number of reviews. There's a whole load of images and extra information about the product and the brand. Let's go and have a look at some of the other products as well. Okay, we'll have a look at this one. You can see here we've got a big review right at the top. There's a lot more information. There's bullet points, which is easy for them to understand. And obviously at the bottom, you've still got more reviews, and then you may also like. So it looks a lot more branded. It just looks a lot more legit. Cool, so we can do that to our website, but now how do we make sure that we're understanding the questions customers have? Because we can add more information to our website very easily, but we need to know what information to add to our website. So what I've done is I've taken this website here and I've gone over to chatiq.ai. I'll leave the link down below in the description. And this is the tool we're going to be using to set this up. It's basically an automated customer service tool, which is going to allow us to gather information from customers, just basically through AI conversations. But at the same time, we can also set up automated support ticketing as well. So we're going to reduce customer service, so you don't need to pay for a VA to do any customer service as well. So I'll walk you through all of that throughout this video, but I want to give you a demonstration of how this works. Let's say, for example, I asked this chatbot here, which is, by the way, it's trained on all of the data from this website. So if we go to the data feed, you can see it's got all of the product links for all of these product pages. We've got 50,000 words of data all on this website, which has been used to train this chatbot. So we're going to go into here and we're going to say, recommend me a product. And we're going to see what it says. Cool, so it's going to go ahead and it said, I recommend trying our conditioning hair oil. So it's able to just pick out one of the random products and then recommend a product. This here, by the way, is the playground area. So these buttons, adjust response and remove from cache, won't be visible in the live version. But obviously you can see here it's also asking to gather email addresses as well from that customer. So for example, we can now actually start to make sure, if we go back to the mind map, out of these 98% of people who are currently on our website, maybe we're going to gather an email address from about 2 to 5% of them. So that means if we've got, let's just put here, right, 98% of them are being ignored. Out of those people, maybe we're going to gather about 5%, 10% of those as email addresses, which means every day, if we're getting 100 clicks, we're getting 10 emails. That's a lot of people that we can then be emailing or retargeting to come back and purchase our products. Don't forget, these are people who are highly interested in our products. So I'll show you how to set this up in a minute, but I want to go on now and I want to pick a specific product on this website and I want to ask questions about it. So for example, conditioning hair oil. Let's go back to this one. This is the one that it recommended, which is quite funny. I'm actually going to start a new conversation with this. I'm going to say, how long do I need to leave the conditioning hair oil in for? And what it's going to do is go ahead and find that page on the website. And you'll notice the first time it does this response, it's going to take 8 to 15 seconds to generate a reply. It says, I recommend leaving hair conditioning oil in for at least 30 minutes to an hour for best results. However, for more intense treatment, you can leave it in overnight and wash it out in the morning. Awesome. So now, as a business, we know that people are curious about how long they leave the hair conditioning oil in for, which means if we get a lot of people asking these questions, we should add this to the top of our page. Cool. What else could somebody have questions about here? We could say, I have sensitive skin, for example. So we're going to send this through. And by the way, what's happening with this chatbot is every single time we send it a message like this in our playground or on our website, so we're just simulating a customer's conversation here, it's actually building a custom memory. So the next time I ask it these questions, it'll be able to respond in a couple of seconds. But you can see here, the soaps are suitable for sensitive skin. They're made of 100% plant ingredients and contain no chemicals, colorants, or synthetic perfumes. Awesome. Cool. So we now know that this customer who's asked this question is interested about whether they can leave it, how long they leave it in for. They have sensitive skin. Is it vegan, for example? So all of these questions that people are asking about our product, we can now gather this data and learn exactly what's causing them to purchase or not purchase our products. And you can see it's incredibly quick at generating these replies. Awesome. So how do we actually see the conversations? Because this is directly within the playground. This is within the dashboard. We need this to be on our website. Well, if you go to ChatIQ's website, you'll notice here that we've actually got a chatbot already embedded into our website. And if I ask it a question, for example, I need a custom feature for this chatbot, again, it's going to give me a reply. It's included a hyperlink to a sales calendar as well. It's asked me if I want to put in my email address, but also I can now, this is like a demonstration of what this would look like on this website. Cool. So let's say we want to embed this into our website. All we need to do is come to the launch tab. We want to copy this code here, and then we're going to go to our website. So you can go to Shopify, you come down to your online store, and then you go down to edit code, and we're looking for the theme.liquid, and then we're looking for the head tag at the top of the page. This is where we're going to add the tracking code that it's just come up with. We're going to paste that in here. Let's just do that, paste it in like that, doesn't really matter too much, and then we're going to save this. Once that's saved, we're going to come back onto the dashboard, and if you head over to design, you'll notice that I've actually branded this for the branding of this website here. So I've taken their logo and I've created a chatbot logo for that. So for example, for our website, we would want to take our logo and we would want to paste it into here. So if we refresh the page, you can see now at the bottom of the page, we actually have this little chatbot icon. So obviously, like I said, you can customize the branding of this. But if we go ahead and click on chat with us, actually, I want to show you something really quickly. If we go to ticketing, we turn on support ticketing, we now have this option here to submit a ticket. And we'll come back to that in a minute. But now we're going to ask it exactly the same question that we just had. And I want you to notice a couple of things. One, how this chatbot is going to deal with the conversation. And now imagine, for example, this chatbot is talking about the product that we're currently on. We're asking questions about this product. It doesn't know, by the way, it doesn't know the actual link of the page that we're on yet. If that's a feature you guys want, let me know in the comments. I can always add this. But let's say we go ahead and say, how long do I need to leave the hair conditioning oil in for? Look how quickly it's going to respond. Now, it's obviously given us a response to the question. It's asking us if we want to put in our email address, and I'll show you what we can do with that in another video, but it's given us the information that we need. Let's take the next question that I asked for, which is it okay for sensitive skin? We're going to go in, we're going to ask that question. Is it okay for sensitive skin? And again, it's responded to that question in a matter of seconds. Now, what happens if we put in our email address? Let's just put in test@gmail.com. We're going to go ahead and submit our email. It's going to close that, so it's no longer going to ask for the email address anymore. But if I ask, for example, what's the refund policy, it's going to go ahead and find that information for me as well. Obviously, don't forget, right, this is trained on a different website. I've just embedded it into this Shopify store just to show you what it looks like. But now if we come back into the dashboard, we can see here we've got a new lead that's come through into our business. We can actually now view this information. So at the moment, we've got this lead information. So we can actually download this lead. So quite often you'll see out of the people who land on your website, you'll probably have about 20 to 30% of them will end up using the chatbot, having conversations with it. And you'll notice that out of those people, about 50% of those people will actually give you their email address. Now, for the moment, you can only download those leads, but we are setting up an integration where you can actually integrate it with your favorite CRM and then obviously use that information in email marketing or whatever. But basically, now what's happening is out of the people who land on our website, we're not ignoring 98% of them. We're actually only probably losing about 80% of this traffic. But we're losing 80% of this traffic. But out of all of this traffic on our website, we're getting a lot of information. So now, let's have a look and see what conversations people have had with our chatbot. You can see here 46 messages with this chatbot. All of these are questions from our customers. If we have a look at some of them, my internet's really slow, so when it loads, we can actually see what actually conversations they're having. So here, how long do I need to leave the conditioning oil in for? Let me just wait for this to load. Cool. So you can now see here, this is the conversation that we had on the website. This is the live conversation. So as a business, we can log into our dashboard and we can see the conversations people have been having with the chatbot. So how long do I need to leave the conditioning hair oil in for? Is it okay for sensitive skin? What's the refund policy? Now, the really cool thing about this is I can now understand the questions and the problems people have with my product and my website and what's lacking from my website, while at the same time gathering lead information from my customers. So all I need to do is come back to here, find out these questions, see how common this question is. You can see this is 2 conversations where we've had and somebody's asked the exact same question. So if people are consistently asking the same question, all we need to do is now write this into our product page and we should see an increase in conversion rates. But what if that information isn't in our website, right? What if somebody comes to our website and they ask this question and it's not there? How do we know the chatbot's not just going to make up some random response? Let's just turn off ticketing for now. We'll do that in another video. So let's say, for example, I've said how much conditioning oil do I put in my hair, and I don't know if this information's on the website, but for now we're going to assume that on the product page there is no information about how much we should be using, because maybe as a customer we want to know how long 50 ml is going to last us for. So it says to use our conditioning oil you only need a few drops. Okay, cool. So let's just assume now that this is incorrect. We can actually adjust this response. So like I said at the start, I recommend if you're building a chatbot like this, what you want to do is have conversations with it, and over time you'll start to see how it responds, and you may realize that sometimes it's hallucinated, it's come up with a response that's not actually accurate. So let's say, for example, we're just going to remove this bit of information and we're going to say, on average, we recommend using about 2 to 5 mil per go, whatever, right? You get the idea. So now we want the chatbot to say this response for every single time we ask it a question about how much conditioning oil do I put into my hair. What it's going to do now is update the memory of the chatbot. So you remember at the beginning I said every time we ask the chatbot a question, it builds its own custom memory. You can see here now, if we were to ask it this question again, we're going to refresh the page just because we want a completely clean slate and I want to show you how this has worked. Actually, let's do it on the website. It'll make it a bit more interesting. So we're going to refresh the page. We're going to come here and we're going to ask this question: how much conditioning oil do I put in my hair? And remember, guys, this is using this website as its training data. So any information on this site, any information that's coming through in these question responses is obviously coming through from this website. So you can see here, how much conditioning oil do I put in my hair? It's used the updated response. Again, if I refresh the page, let's see what happens. We're going to chat with a chatbot. We're going to ask it the same question. Sorry, 1 second. We're going to say, how much conditioning oil do I put in my hair? And there we go, we've got the updated response. And again, we can put in the email, but if we don't want the email, customer can just close that email box and then we can do other things. Cool, so now we've basically built a chatbot which is able to learn from customer questions. If somebody asks us a question, let's say we went into our dashboard and we see here, somebody's asked it, how much conditioning oil do I put in my hair? And for example, this one, whatever which one it was. Anyway, they ask this question and you see that the response isn't accurate. All we need to do is take this question, come back to the chatbot and then ask it in the chatbot workspace. And then it's going to go ahead and provide us with a response. We can adjust that response. Now, if you want to, what you can do is add additional data. So we're just going to add in here, conditioning oil info, and we can say always use 2 of conditioning oil per go. Make sure not to use less than 2 mil. So I've got the microphone in the way of the keyboard. So we're going to add additional data to the chatbot's knowledge base. So the chatbot is now going to be able to understand a little bit more information about the website. So for example, if there's information that's not on our product page, we can add it to the chatbot before we add it to the website. So I just want to show you quickly before we do this. If we come to the data section, if I scroll down, you can see this is all the information the chatbot's using. These are all PDFs and texts that I've added after the fact. So I've added extra training information. So you can see there's nothing in here at the moment. So if I adjust the response and I add in conditioning oil extra info, we upload it. It's going to take a second. That's now done. If we come back to the chatbot, I think, yeah, cool. It's now added that information into the chatbot. If I come to the data feed, what it'll actually do, if we, let's just filter by text to make this quicker. It's now added in those 36 extra words. Cool. So let's come back to the chatbot and just remove this from the cache. So we don't want the chatbot to remember this anymore. So if we refresh the page and we have a new conversation with the chatbot, it will now take a few more seconds to respond. It won't use that previously cached data and it's going to generate a new response. Or maybe I didn't remove it. But the point is it will generate a new response from that new data that we've just uploaded to the chatbot. So let's try that again. Come into here. We're going to ask it the new question. And like I say, over time, the chatbot builds its own memory. So at the start, it'll take 8 to 15 seconds to generate a response. Then it's going to be about 1 to 2 seconds every single time after that. And here we go. You should use 2 to 5 mil of conditioning hair oil per application. It's important not to use less than 2 mil to see the best results. And that's basically word for word what I wrote. Additionally, we recommend leaving the conditioning oil in for 20 minutes to achieve the best effects. Awesome. So now we've actually managed to find a way of understanding why people aren't purchasing our product. We've managed to increase the amount of data that we're getting, but we're also able to understand the questions that they're having that's stopping them from buying our product. So now from this website, we are gathering a lot more information. We're gathering lead information that we can then retarget. We can download those leads and use it in whatever CRM we want. And we did all of this using the ChatIQ chatbot. So if you click the top link down below in the description, go to this website. You want to start your free trial, put in your card details. It's not going to charge you, don't worry, it won't charge you anything. And then you've got 7 days to try it for free. Go ahead into the dashboard. I'll just show you really quickly. You want to come to upload data, put in the URL of your website and start scraping your website. It will basically find every single page on your website and it will then use that as training data. Any information that's missing from here, any information that you haven't added, because depending on the plan that you're on, you can only scrape a certain number of pages, you may want to just add in extra bits of data like this or upload PDF files and extra bits of information. Awesome. Once we've done that, like I said, go to launch, copy this code, come back to the theme.liquid, paste it in, and you're good to go.